Hey guys, how's it going? As we kick off today, we're going to continue on our series on Do Something. And I'll start by telling you a story. In 1961, a woman was arrested for simply sitting on a bus. You may actually think I'm over-exaggerating by saying that, or maybe I'm oversimplifying the story. And that's a no and a yes. A woman called Rosa Parks did simply sit down on a bus and she did get arrested. And you might be asking why. And she was arrested because she was black and she was unwilling to give her seat up for some white women. And she got arrested due to the colour of her skin. And that's injustice. You see, an injustice is when something isn't right or isn't fair. And when someone does experience injustice, we often start by asking the question, why doesn't someone do something? And you might have had your own experience of injustice. Or other viewers might be thinking, that's not me, that's not my story. But as a family, when one suffers, we all suffer. And as a church and as Southport Limitless, we should consider one another like family. So when we know someone is suffering an injustice, we should face it with them. So how do we face up to injustice? I want us to take a lesson from three friends, and their names were Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego. And these three friends lived in Babylon during the reign of King Nebuchadnezzar. You see, King Nebuchadnezzar was very powerful. In fact, he had just conquered and captured Israel, and taken with him the very best and the brightest of the young men that were there. And that's why these three friends found themselves there. They were in fact prisoners of war. Now, King Nebuchadnezzar had created a gold statue of himself and ordered everyone to worship it. The consequences for those who wouldn't bow down and worship it were death by a blazing fire. Now, Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego refused. King Nebuchadnezzar then instructed the guards to turn the furnace up by 7 times, and the guards themselves were killed by the flames. Now, this doesn't seem right, nor does it seem fair. And they were thrown in because they were only willing to worship God and they refused to worship a gold statue. But this happened when we find it in Daniel chapter 3 verses 24-27. It says, Then King Nebuchadnezzar leaped into his feet in amazement and asked his advisors, "Weren't there 3 that were tied up and thrown into the fire?" They replied, "Certainly, Your Majesty." And he said, "Look, I see 4 men walking around the fire unbound and unharmed. And the 4th looks like the son of the gods." Nebuchadnezzar then approached the opening of the blazing furnace and shouted, "Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego, servants of the Most High God, come out, come here." So Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego came out of the fire, and the satraps and the prefects, governors and the royal advisors crowded around them. They saw that the fire had not harmed their bodies, nor was a hair on their head singed. The robes were not scorched, and there was no smell of fire on them. Within the flames, within their injustice, there was a 4th man. Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego were not alone, because God was with them. And you too might be experiencing an injustice, but you are not alone either, because God is with you, because He cares about you. And here are some of the steps you could consider when thinking this through. Talk to Jesus. Remind yourself over and over again that you are not alone. Remember that He will send others to be with you. And talk to those around you, whether a trusted friend or an adult. And even consider getting help from somebody who's around you. And keep moving. Don't stop, because we've got to fight against injustice. And today, this might be something you've never experienced or thought of, but I want to encourage you to talk to God too. Because when we go out, because when we think about these things, we too have a role to play against injustice. And we should be asking God, where do we fit in? How can we be a part of the fight against it? And if you do, or you are currently facing injustice, know that you don't have to go through it alone. Know that God is with you, and also reach out to a leader, a friend, and speak to a parent. Like, we are not going through this alone, and you don't need to either, because God is with you.